Hello again, all my comic collecting friends. It's Matt, Comic Order 410, here to do a video of the stuff I grabbed at East Coast Comic Con this past Saturday in New Jersey. And I want to thank again my friend Tom Ryan for catching up with me at the show and hanging out with me in the lines. I had a great time. You're an awesome dude, buddy. Hope to catch up with you again at some point. To start off, I'll show these prints I grabbed real quick. I grabbed a few. Grabbed this print by Steve Rude, painted print of Wonder Woman. Gorgeous piece. Big fan of his. Had to grab print Basil Gogos. Was there. Amazing horror artist. He uses the most unique color palettes. I told him I thought it was, really courageous. Most horror artists have to be dark and gritty, and this is pretty mild for Gogos, actually, this Bela Lugosi piece. But if you look up his work, he uses bright colors on his horror stuff, and it works amazingly. And he signed it for me down there. Very awesome guy. And the main reason that I attended this convention was to meet Art Adams. And I grabbed, these prints were only $10, they're all black and white, but had to grab this unpublished Creature from the Black Lagoon piece he did. Utterly amazing. Just such a nice guy. Pardon me. And it's nice when you meet somebody you idolize so much, and they're that cool. And he was. And I don't know if this variant got used, but this is a Wolverine variant. I love this print. Really like the Tower of Skulls he's standing on. He's getting ready to jump down and have it out with all these weapon-wielding, whoever they are. But I don't know if that was published or not. But it's very cool. And I also got his sketchbook. Sometime I'll have to go through. It's all black and white like this. But some amazing stuff in there. A Little Mermaid and kind of a more realistic, mature take on the Little Mermaid and Ursula. There's a Star Wars piece. There's an homage to Tomb of Dracula cover where he's fighting Frankenstein. Just some great stuff. And I had to go to this show because my understanding is Art Adams does not do East Coast shows very often. I know he's never done Baltimore to my knowledge, so that's why I drove up there. But also got to meet Basil Gogos. Thought I had a creepy he did, but I couldn't find it, so I had to settle for this famous Monsters of Filmland 106. It was kind of banged up, but I got him to sign right there, this cover he did. So that was really cool to meet him as well. Also, when I met the great Jim Steranko, I should have taken this out. It was signed inside, but this is the History of Comics Part 2. This gorgeous wraparound cover here. I'll turn it around. Oh boy, sorry. But yeah, there's the back. Just an incredible wraparound cover by Jim Steranko, and he was selling those at his table. History of Comics Part 1 is not easy to find. Finally picked up, I commissioned some more sketch covers from the Living Corpse team, and Ken Hazer and Buzz Hassan did these for me. They did an amazing job, as usual. They took some Star Wars blanks, and they did this gorgeous Boba Fett piece where he's flying out of the Sarlacc pit. Did an incredible job. And when he sent me a picture in progress of this one, and I saw all the beautiful brushwork that Ken had done on the inking, I said, you know what? Just leave, because he had already colored the lightsabers, nothing else. I said, if you can, just leave it like that. I think it looks beautiful. I even asked the opinions of a couple of my friends, and pretty much everyone said, yeah, leave it like that. And that is gorgeous. It's a homage to the final fight in Return of the Jedi. Beautiful job there. Buzz penciled that, and Ken inked it. Really happy with these. And the third one that I had commissioned from them was Judge Dredd, Judge Death piece, and they knocked it out. I think Buzz's Judge Dredd looks very good, and Ken did a great job inking this as well. And this cover is kind of a homage to the title screen of the Incredible Hulk TV show with Bill Bixby, and half Bill Bixby's face and half the Hulk's face. So I thought they did an amazing job. And they were nice enough too that at the show, all three of them were there, Ken, Buzz, and their colorist Blair Smith, and they did this living corpse on a blank for free and gave it to me, and I thought that was really awesome of those guys. So, very cool. And they had these two covers also, and I'm enjoying the Netflix Daredevil, so I bought both of these. This is a Daredevil that their colorist Blair did, and he's really starting to become an awesome artist. I like that, so I bought it. And this Buzz and Ken did of the black costume Daredevil for the convention, and I bought it as well. And they told me that some guy bought all their they had a bunch of blank covers, and said some guy bought all the Daredevil ones. So that's how that goes. Next up, I'm sad to report, I'm sure many of you heard, the great Herb Trimpe passed away this past Monday, and Tom Ryan and myself were lucky enough to talk to him on Saturday. He was there with his family. His wife is usually with him, but he had a bunch of his cousins and nieces and nephews and stuff there because they were doing a documentary on him, and he looked like he was having a really good time, so that's reassuring. But got to talk to him and got my book signed, and he's just a great guy, and I was glad that I got to see him one more time, and definitely was upset when I read the news. Also, for the first time ever, he had prints that he was selling, and God, I wish I'd have bought one now. But it's a real shame. But he co-created Wolverine, he co-created Psylocke. He had so much prolific work on Godzilla, G.I. Joe, Transformers for Marvel, The Incredible Hulk, the list goes on and on. Excuse me. He did Marvel Team Up as well. Just so much stuff. The Crest Cavity Creeps commercial. So, I was fortunate enough, Larry Hama was there as well. So got my G.I. Joe 3 signed by both of them. Yep, Herb Trimpe will, his memory will live on. His body of work is just legendary. And Herb and Larry signed G.I. Joe number 4 for me. Number 7. This, I was lucky enough not only to get it signed by Herb and Larry Hama, but Bob Camp, who inked this, was there too. One of the creators of Ren and Stimpy. So got that signed. G.I. Joe number 8. Got that signed by Herb and Larry Hama. And G.I. Joe 119. Herb Trimpe not only did this art here, but he wrote this. This is one of the few G.I. Joes he wrote. And for the first time, I'm more than happy to give $1 per signature, but for the first time ever, he was charging, that I met him, he was charging for signatures $1 a signature, and I'm more than fine with that. He signed my Godzilla number 4 here. And my Godzilla number 7 with Red Ronin. So that was really awesome. Rest in peace, Herb Trimpe. You will be missed. You will be remembered. And I got to tell you, his wife, who's always at the shows with him too, she's a sweet lady. So my thoughts and prayers go out to his family. Just a great guy. One of the most influential creators out there. Larry Hama did this sketch variant for G.I. Joe 200. Got him to sign that for me. He signed my G.I. Joe 156, and this is the first IDW issue, continuing on the Marvel numbering. Larry Hama signed my Nam number 1. I have to get Michael Golden to sign that this year at Baltimore. It's a beautiful cover. Larry Hama wrote Conan 117. Signed that for me as well. He was very nice. He was also charging for the first time that I knew, but I haven't seen him in about 3 years. So, and last but not least, from Larry Hama, he signed my relaunch of Conan, the first issue, and he wrote this series. So he was always very cool. Speaking of always very cool, once again got to talk to the great Jim Steranko, and he's just such a nice guy, and I can sit there and listen to his stories forever. As a matter of fact, I apologize to Tom Ryan, because Steranko was talking, and he had an audience of like 3 or 4 people, and I was just listening so long, Tom had to keep going and go do what he needed to do. So I apologize, but yeah, if I had a chair and popcorn, I'd probably still be there. Steranko's that cool. But got him to sign my Detective 33 variant, and just a beautiful homage to Detective 27. And he doesn't seem to be the biggest fan of Bob Kane, because he's a good friend of Bill Finger and feels Bill Finger wasn't treated right, which unfortunately was the standard of the times. But he said somebody had to redraw that Detective 27 cover because Bob Kane put Batman out in the daylight, for God's sake. So, yep, that's Steranko's take on it. It's beautiful. He signed my Nick Fury Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. #2. My Nick Fury Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. #5. And again, I said Ren and Stimpy creator Bob Camp was there. He was charging $10 a signature. He gave me a break because I had some Conan books, and I guess he was surprised to see him. But I signed my Ren and Stimpy Show Interactive Special one-shot. Signed my Powdered Toast Man Special one-shot. Got smeared a little bit, unfortunately. He signed my Round the World in a Daze one-shot. My Conan the Barbarian 172. Yeah, like this one I wasn't going to get signed because it's kind of beat up, but he was like, just give them to me. So that was cool. And he did the covers on these, the Conan the Destroyer movie adaptations by Marvel. Did that cover of Arnold. And, oops, sorry. He was very happy to see this one. He said that somebody added this afro after he drew it because they couldn't get the rights to use Grace Jones. And he's like, whoever did the afro did a really terrible job. It's like coming out of the top of her head. So he said, I like that cover, but somebody screwed up my work. And Bob Camp worked on G.I. Joe 36 as well in the interior. So he signed that for me. He said he's a big fan of Michael Golden's covers like this, the G.I. Joe, and I agree. Finally met Steve Rude, another one of my favorite artists. Very cool guy. He signed my Johnny Quest #1. Signed my Johnny Quest #2. He did the interiors on these. Signed my Johnny Quest #4. Big fan of that series. Signed my World's Finest #1. Beautiful cover here. These covers are fantastic. This cover to World's Finest 2 is outstanding. He signed that as well. World's Finest #3 of 3. Very cool guy, Steve Rude. And the longest line was Simon Bisley's, and that's just, or Bisley. Should have asked him how to pronounce that. I've always said Bisley, and it's just habit, but I think it is Bisley. But anyhow, his line was the longest because he was sketching for pretty much anyone who wanted one, and you had to wait in line while he did people's sketches. But he was very cool. They were selling beer in the convention center, and he was drinking beer and drawing, and very nice guy. And I'm a big fan of his Lobo work. He signed my Lobo #1 for me. Big fan of his heavy metal work. Kind of mad I didn't bring a heavy metal for him to sign. I signed my Lobo 2. Oopsie. My Lobo 3 he signed right there. You can barely see it. And my Lobo #4. Also from Simon Bisley. I got my Batman Judge Dredd Judgment on Gotham signed, and I absolutely love this one-shot. It's a fantastic book. He signed my Deathstroke #1 from New 52. He did the covers on these. Also signed issue number 2. And issue number 3. So almost didn't get to him. Got to him at the very end of the day. Ann Nocenti was there. She was very nice. Actually, this was the one part of Death of the Family I was missing, Catwoman 13. And this isn't the die-cut cover, so it might be a second print. But she had this at her table for $4, and I bought it. And she signed it for me. She was very cool. Brought my Catwoman 14 for her, and she signed that. And she signed my Catwoman 23 as well. This is the first appearance of Joker's daughter. And she said they have, DC does have plans for Joker's daughter, if anybody was wondering why they didn't do much with her. One cool thing about the show is the lines were the weights were reasonable. I don't think aside from Simon Bisley, I didn't wait for anyone more than 20-30 minutes. And Tom and myself got in Will Sportaccio and Art Adams' line twice. So that was really cool. Will Sportaccio was amazingly nice. He signed my Punisher 10 for me. Love that cover. Signed my Punisher 17. My X-Men 281. My X-Men 290. Beautiful Storm cover in a storm. My Iron Man number 1, even though this is the Ryan Benjamin cover, he did, excuse me, he did the other cover and the interiors here. Signed my Iron Man number 2. Number 3. And number 4. And I only bought, there weren't that many great deals to be had at this convention. I only bought like 4 books, and they were all $5 or less, just random issues I saw that I needed. But yeah, I didn't look too hard. I wasn't looking for any major books, but didn't seem like that many great deals, and there was small lines for artists, so I just stuck to that. Like I said, wanted to meet Art Adams for a long time. Finally did. He's super nice. He accidentally signed this twice. My Classic Avengers number 1, and that's fine. I don't care, but we were having a good conversation, and he forgot and signed that twice, and I forgot a couple of the dark covers. I even had a silver Sharpie in my hand to ask him to sign the darker covers in silver, and he was so nice, and we were talking that I forgot. But very cool guy. He signed my Deadpool number 8 and number 9. This is one of the ones I should have gotten signed in silver or gold. But beautiful cover there. Love that cover. He signed my Fantastic Four 347. Love this storyline he did here where Hulk, Spidey, Wolverine, and Ghost Rider take over as the Fantastic Four for 3 issues. And he signed the cover to 348 as well. Love that cover. And part 3, 349 he signed. Yeah, I had to bug him. I actually got in his line 3 times because a friend of mine wanted his sketchbook, so I got back in line a 3rd time. But all told, I barely waited, maybe not even an hour for, combined all 3 trips. So thought that was awesome. Art signed my FF 551 variant. It's hard to see, it's up there, but this is a gorgeous cover. Love that. And my Uncanny X-Men 23 variant of Groot and Rocket Raccoon. Sign that for me too. My X-Men Annual 14. Now you can see why I had to get back in line for him 3 times. And this, to me, was the cream of the crop for me at the show. The entire creative team of one of my favorite miniseries, Long Shot, was there. Ann Nocenti wrote it. Art Adams penciled it. It was the first artwork of his I ever saw as a kid, and it blew me away. And Will Sportaccio inked this miniseries. So I got back in line for all 3 of them to get this whole mini signed. And all 3 of them signed issue 1, issue 2, issue 3. Some of these are going to go to CBCS for authentication, but I found out that show CBCS raised their price for that, which did not make me happy. He signed my long shot 4, or rather all 3 of them did. Beautiful cover there. Number 5. And the final issue, number 6. So, had a fantastic time. Everything worked out great. Yeah, definitely had a good time meeting up with you too, Tom. Hopefully, if there's a show in the area, we can communicate and catch up again. Everyone, thank you for stopping by. I always appreciate it. Take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and take care and enjoy your comics.